Hello, everyone. Welcome to our new free webinar from Beetroot Academy. And today it is dedicated to product management. Our speaker is Alex. He's a product management manager at Intellias. And he will tell you today how product management emerged, and a little spoiler, although this profession now is most well-known in tech field, when it appeared, it was not related to tech. So we have to wait, I guess, a few minutes to let everyone join us. And during these few minutes, I will tell you more about Beetroot Academy, how do we teach, how do we work, and who we are. So let's get started. And while I'm talking, I would like to ask you to print in our live chat if you hear and see us well. So we will be sure that we have no problems with our stream. Okay, let's start then. Well, as you can see, Beetroot Academy is a Swedish-Ukrainian tech school. We work since 2014. We were founded in Ukraine, and our mission is to help people to build great careers in tech. Since the coronavirus crisis started, we work online, and this also helps us to prove that our mission is fine and that tech education is affordable and accessible for everyone. We also stand for gender equality in tech. So you can see that 65% of our graduates are outside from the main top tech hubs, and 61% are women. Mostly we teach people who are just starting their professional career and they choose tech to do it. Also, we teach tech industry professionals who already have an experience, but in other fields, and they come to us to gain new skills, to get a boost and to improve their career. And also, we teach switchers, so-called switchers. These are people who have a lot of professional experience, but they never worked in a tech industry. We present your courses. This is front-end development, Python development, QA manual, UI UX design, and project management in IT. So you can choose whatever you want, tech profession or not tech, or some more creative professions like UI UX design. And also for those who are interested but is not sure which profession to choose, we offer you Intro to Tech Careers course. This is a self-paced course. You can do it by yourself and just choose a profession you like. Also, a few words about how do we teach. We use a flipped classroom model. This means that you have all materials, all theory to study at home. And when you come up to our class, we live classes with the teacher and with our other students. We have no more than 15 students in the group. Usually, you don't waste time on reading something. You're just focusing on practicing and gaining some practical skills. A few more words about this webinar. We will have a live chat working through the whole webinar. I will be looking through it. So if you have some questions or something is not clear for you, you just can type it into the live chat and I will transfer it to Alex. And the recording of the webinar will be available, I guess, tomorrow, and we'll send it by email to all the registered participants. Well, that's all from my side. Alex, the stage is yours. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to start the share. Hopefully everybody can see it. Introduction to product management in 40 minutes or less. So a few words about me. My name is Alex Bondarenko. I started my career in marketing. I have 10 years of product management experience, which I will try to distill down in 40 minutes. I worked on some interesting products ranging from gaming to telco to fintech. This QR code leads to my LinkedIn profile. If you'd like, send me a message. But if you see it on other slides in the presentation, they link to some articles and some materials that I think are very cool. So if you're up for it, go and check those out. So what we're going to talk today is origin of product management, how it relates to software development, what kind of areas a product manager should excel or know about, some trade-offs, and we're going to cap it up with what are the ways to enter the product management sphere or product owner sphere and start building a career in that area. So origins of product management. The first product management job was actually created in fast-moving consumer goods in Procter & Gamble in the 30s. The way they had their distribution set up is that they would have regional managers who in one state, one manager, and in one state, the other manager, which would manage a series of products like detergents, I don't know, toothpaste, stuff like that. And at the time, they measured themselves on the amount of units they sold in each particular area, so that they would have sales plans. But what Procter & Gamble learned and what they feel would improve the situation is if they create a position that is solely responsible for promoting and working with a single product, not a series of products. And they invented the job. They call it a product manager, and they say, you're a product manager of Tide, or you're a product manager of this particular brand of toothpaste. And the idea is that those people, they need to understand how their products are sold in various regions, because all advertising, even now, is local. So the way you promote your product in one region would probably differ in the other region because it's all local and specific to that area. So they just need to research what customer wants, what customer needs in various regions, come up with the ways to improve the sales for products in particular regions, and make those improvements. And this is kind of a marketing background, and what those guys started doing in the 30s became the content for what they teach in marketing degrees. As we leave the slide, some of those guys start moving from Procter & Gamble and from that industry to tech industry, but the next big hit was the invention of Scrum. And it all started with an article written by a Japanese man for Harvard Business Review in 1986. This is the first article that introduces the word Scrum, and this is the foundation for the Scrum framework, like it was developed and currently is taught on various courses and with all the books. So what you see in front of you, this is Exhibit A. This is the way that article analyzes the manufacturing of various goods in American and Japanese companies. Basically, they look at various products that are being developed, that were developing at the time, like copiers or photo cameras, and they looked at the way the teams are organized that are working on those products. So the traditional approach that was used mostly, and that they were examining, was what you call now is waterfall approach. So manufacturing, you have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and let's think about it. So phase 1 is like some marketing specialist create a concept for a product. Then phase 2, you have some R&D people that build a prototype. Then you have some production people that actually think how it will look on the manufacturing line. And then the fourth, you have quality assurance. So in this case, all those professionals, they would be gated in their silos. So marketing goes to R&D, R&D goes to production design goes to quality assurance, and they do not interact. In type B and type C, we see that those professionals from various backgrounds, they are overlapping. So marketing and so all those guys would be in the same team and speaking at the same time, not half a year from now. What they learned is that if you put people together, they are able to make decisions quicker and they're able to develop better products. And it's fascinating because manufacturing world is very tough business. So for a manager in manufacturing, it's easy to calculate, well, we found a bug 3 days before we're supposed to start manufacturing. Well, we need 7 days to fix it. So we will have 4 days where manufacturing would not start. And then they will calculate what is the cost of this bug and precisely in dollar amount. So in manufacturing, this is actually a very provable concept in terms of money. You can actually calculate if you have a cross-functional team where you find bugs early, it is more economically feasible to do it that way. So this is kind of interesting. So this became a cornerstone for Scrum framework, and it's transferred and evolved over the years in a software development industry. So what people learned is that software products have to be shipped regularly in short intervals to be competitive. Up until 20 years ago, there was no vehicle to deliver short updates. Not very much of internet, not very much of channels where you can deploy applications, and frankly, no technology to do that. Now we have that technology, and people who deploy frequently, or companies who deploy their products frequently, enjoy fruits of their success. And nobody does a half-a-year release or release every year or every 2 years. The next finding is that the process has to be agile, because when you develop especially software products, you might have to deal with shifting priorities, and you will deal with shifting priorities. And you have to be agile enough to react appropriately to that. And the last point is that developing products is hard, and a lot of them do not succeed. So products have inherently high variability. You can fail or you can succeed. So this is kind of how organizing the way software works, how software evolves, and how our thinking about how to manage and work with software products evolved. So let's recap. Product management has a tools and marketing function, and is both a creative process and an exercise in execution. It's a team sport. There are some amazing products that are created by a single person, some indie games. Minecraft was created by one guy, as far as I know, but it's a team sport. It's a rule. The product manager's job in this context, for what we discussed, is to be an authority on customer wants and needs. And if you want to know what is the biggest thing, it is this: decide what to build. If you need 3 words to summarize the job, or 4 words, those would be the words. And the good breakdown that I'm showing here, the good breakdown is separating inputs and execution. So inputs would be a strategy and customer research. We're going to talk down the line. And execution is actually making this vision come true. So let's start with execution and transfer to Scrum product ownership. So this is a diagram that sort of visualizes the way the Scrum team would operate normally. Let's say we have a product backlog, a list of stuff that we want to do, ordered by that any team member can create, but product manager's job is to arrange it in a way that where the most valuable thing would be on top. Then you have a sprint planning meeting where the team gathers together and they form a sprint backlog. Sprint is a repeated interval of time, so 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, but it's all the time the same length. You pick up items, you decide to do them, you do them on the same intervals, and at the end you do what is called a sprint review, where you review how successful your work was, and you do a sprint retrospective, where you determine whether something could have been done better in terms of communication, or whatever could have been improved to make the process easier. And you have daily stand-ups every other day. There are nuances to how to organize and how to operate Scrum teams, there is a specific role to coach and to mentor people in Scrum teams, and this role is Scrum Master. But in this setup, and this setup is very commonly used by product companies everywhere, the product manager's job is comes down to three things. First, preparing product backlog, so what to do, right? And the important thing here is having a clear picture that you can communicate clearly of what you want to do, but not how you want to do it, because A, it's not your job, and B, it's not your job. You don't know how engineers do certain things. It's up to them to determine how, right? And then the second part is managing trade-offs. So because you started discussion with what you want, but then the team actually has to develop it, there would be situations where you need to come to an agreement. You might need to change something, or you might need to, during the sprint, to abandon working on some story, right? Or because it's blocked. And those kind of trade-offs requires product manager's job. And it's actually the biggest source of waste for on the part of product manager. So if your developer asks you to check something, you need to check it straight away. If you have a sprint that is 2 weeks and it takes you 1 or 2 days to answer developer's question, it's a very long time, and it creates a lot of waste. And the third part of product manager's job is release management. So you want to know what you're delivering. It's called increment, right? What the Scrum team delivers. You want to know when you deliver. You want to know how you deliver it, and you want to make a decision whether you want to show it or not, because you're responsible for the, along with the team, but you're the final gate on what the customer should see at the end. And talking about delivery, Scrum team that we just discussed, the team can develop and ship the product, but as a whole, the company delivers it basically. So, for example, you develop a fantastic feature, like for a mobile app. For example, it's a game and you developed a Halloween themed world where people can play in your game some Halloween monsters, they can shoot them or something. And it's supposed to run exactly at Halloween, but marketing team hasn't promoted it when it came out. So it's supposed to be Halloween come, people open the app, they see the ad for Halloween shooter, but they did not do it because it was not coordinated. This is a fail. You might also, in other contexts, deliver some functionality and there can be a situation where your support team might be overrun with the client, with customer calls, because they don't know what you've done and how to react to certain customer calls, and you don't want that situation. The next one is very straightforward. The team has shipped a feature, but your client doesn't know about it. So if you created a story in Jira and developer developed it, you tested it, and somebody deployed it on some environment, but the client doesn't know it, it did not happen. If the customer doesn't know it, it did not happen. So show the demo, write release notes, or make marketing materials if that's a B2C app. Just make people aware of the change. The next thing is just in terms of company resources. So various teams might work on the same product, and I've seen situations where people do the same thing. So one team would do something half a year ago, and then you go and you start developing the same thing because you just don't know. So it's a good idea to share with other teams in the company, or generally within the company, on some things. Just try to avoid people not knowing stuff. And about people not knowing stuff, is your daughter pregnant? This is a subtitle from a New York Times article, and the story it tells is fascinating. So about 10 years ago, a man came to local Target and he called the manager, and he starts berating him because his daughter received an ad for child products, strollers, children clothing, stuff like that, like for infants. And the man is upset because his daughter is in high school and she's not pregnant. Well, the manager says, "I'm sorry, sir," and that should be the end of the story. But the man comes back 2 days later, apologizes to the manager, and explains to him that he learned that his daughter is pregnant. Well, it's probably kind of normal for him not to know. But the question is, how does Target knew that the guy's daughter was pregnant before the guy knew? And actually, how did they know? And why did they care? This is the interesting question. And if you know the secret behind it, how is the magic unfolds? So every time you go to a supermarket, they will give you a guest ID. It's basically an ID and they will track your purchases in the supermarket over time. And then a person who knows what he or she doing, they can analyze the patterns, the way your purchases change over time, and they can, with a certain certainty, say like, with a 90% certainty, we are sure that this guest is a woman who is pregnant because she changed her diet. She started buying new products. So that's how they know. The reason why they care is because people are stuck in the ways they buy products. So people keep their preferences for a long time. But there is one specific group that will dramatically change their buying preferences, and it's a big group. It's women who are it's pregnant women. Why? They need to buy new products that they never considered buying before. And this is a way you can sell those products to them if you know when they're pregnant. And they will change their habits in products they already bought. So maybe no more Pepsi, more apple juice, something like this, right? And this story goes to show that customer research is magic, and that magic will make you have great products or profitable products, whatever you prefer. If we're talking about customer research, there are several ways to do it. One is customer interviews. There are plenty of books on how to conduct customer interviews. There are some techniques, but basically the idea is that you ask people what their problem is, what their pains are, what do they need, and you don't ask them or don't listen to them when they say how they want to fix it, because that's up to you to fix it. You just need to realize at this point what is bothering them. And this is one way to do it. The other way is research papers. So there are academic research papers, like from sociology kind, and industry papers. At one of my jobs, my boss asked me, we were developing a product for women 45 plus, and she asked me to find which shade of pink is the most popular among that target group, right? So after Googling it for 15 minutes, there is a research on which shade of pink is the most popular. That's kind of amazing. There are stuff like that out there, and you can find it. The next big thing is quantitative research. What I mean by that is metrics. If you have a mobile app, you can check how often people use it, how often they come back, how much money they spend. If you have an e-commerce store, you can check the average check, how much time people repurchase in your store over a certain period of time. And even if you work in some enterprise system where you cannot track metrics like this, you can always go with NPS, which stands for Net Promoter Score. So the idea, and it's widely accepted metric to evaluate whether products are successful or not. You basically ask from 1 to 10 how likely it is that you're gonna share this product with somebody else or invite people to use it. And you can track it. And it's so widely used that you can actually track it for yourself and try to learn what your competitors have as NPS or what is the industry standard as NPS. Maybe in some cases it will work. You might find this data. If metrics doesn't work, you can always run experiments. Basically, you can do a A/B test. You have a button, you don't know which color it should be. You can say that 1,000 people should see it as a green button, the other 1,000 should see it as a red button, and then you run the experiment, you see how many people click on that button, and you check whether there was enough people in the study so you can make a decision whether it worked or not, and you have it. You just run an experiment, and now you know something that you did not know before. Running A/B tests now is very simple right now. There's a bunch of platforms that you can integrate or in your app, be it mobile, be it web, and it's straight out of the box. And they will tell you everything. And the last is talking to customers. And what I mean by this here is that by the nature of the job, if you work within a team, so let's say you have 5 engineers, a tester, and you work there, and you would spend more time than your teammates whilst either speaking with customers, if you have that kind of business where you can speak with customers, or you would do customer interviews, do metrics, you would do those kind of research, which means that you would accumulate more information than your teammates. This is the job. And this is important to note. So this is gradually happened. You started the project, and just by the nature of working on it, you develop more and more knowledge about your customers. Now we have one piece of the pie. We have customer research, and basically it's tools and techniques. They all can be learned, and it's not science. It's not rocket science. And then we go to strategy. Strategy is a big, broad questions that you need to ask yourself about your product, and answers to those you need to evolve as you learn more. So the questions might be like, what is the success criteria for our products? Like, is it like 5 million a year in net revenue, or making the world a better place? Whatever suits you, you just need to ask this question and find an answer. Then think about how to achieve it. Then, because remember, this is a team sport, then the next topic would be, well, we have this thing, we want 5 million a year. How we communicate internally and externally with everybody that it should happen, or how we go about it, because only the team, or with like a lot of people together, can make this happen. You cannot make this happen by your own. There's a great story about Amazon. So if you go to Amazon to work for Amazon, and your job warrants a desk, they will take the cheapest door that is available, and they will build a desk for you out from this door. It started in 1995. The reason is they had a Home Depot shop near the office in Seattle, and the doors were cheaper than tables. So they bought a door and they added some legs to it. And that's how they do their tables at Amazon. And this is how they communicate to people within the company on what Amazon is. It is a frugal, it's business that is exercises fragility. It doesn't spend money. Find an easiest and cheapest solution for the problem you have. Do it for the table and do it for everything else. This is one way to do it. The next question can be, how's your industry going to change over time? It's also fascinating. Whatever industry you work in, there is ways to learn about how to evolve over time. And basically this will give an insight or on where it might go. For example, let's take music industry. Everybody loves music, right? From 60s to 2000s, the main source of revenue for music labels was selling CDs, selling albums. From start of 2000s, people started learning that because MP3 became available, you can download MP3 from Napster, and then you can buy them on iTunes for for 99 cents a song. Labels learned that people don't actually like buying CDs. They like to buy songs. Nobody cares about albums. Now the game is songs. And then the next shift happens 10 years from that. People start streaming music. So now you only pay $5-6. And you have a Spotify, you have your Apple Music, and you use it. So in terms of 60 years, for 40 years it's album, then 10 years it's individual songs, and then 10 years it's streaming. And this is on customer side. What about the music labels? They're not getting their money, they're not getting as much money from selling music as they did. It was from 60s to 2000s, it was, let's do some concerts, let's drive all over the country, do some concerts so we can sell more CDs. But now CDs are gone and the business has flipped completely. Now people release albums in order to promote concerts, which gives us better concerts. So in 60 years, the way we consume music has changed several times, and the main source of revenue for the music industry has flipped, basically. So whatever your product is, or whatever your market is, you need to know your market, your product, your audience, and the context of your company. If you do that, you will add some other questions that need answering. And this is how you determine what to build. So the good news is product management is hard, but you don't have to be, and probably very rarely people are good at all 4 areas: Scrum product ownership, coordination, strategy, and customer research. You have to be good at some to be good, but not at all. Job involves speaking to a lot of people and incorporating a lot of different viewpoints. So you will have demands on your product from legal, from marketing, from you would want to do something, but you have those inputs that you need to incorporate, and then you need to create a clear vision of what the product should be, and you need to articulate that vision. And trade-offs are very important. So the exercise is not what we should do ideally, but what can we do this quarter, this year, right? What should we do? And you need to do trade-offs. You need to prioritize A at the expense of B. You need to say this is important and this is not. And it requires an ability to listen to people and then to articulate reasons and to have reasoning behind that, why you choose A over B. This is very important because those decisions has to be articulated. You cannot just say we're going to be doing this, obviously. Conclusions. So kind of unrelated, but with the time, as time goes by, there are more and more products and those products, and some of the products are getting bigger. So it's a job that kind of has a demand, and the demand is set to only rise in the coming years. Is because kind of we're getting better, technology is getting better, and there is just more product and more demand for that kind of work. The job is context heavy. So I know a guy who worked at a company that developed heart rate monitors, right, for people with heart conditions. And if you take a product manager in gaming industry and a product manager in healthcare industry doing heart rate monitors, those are two different guys and two different product managers. One wears a shirt. He's concerned about compliance, risk, making sure that his heart rate monitor is up to spec and doesn't break. The gaming guy might not know the half of the words the healthcare guy knows, and vice versa. In the Scrum framework, a Scrum team is a set of up to 10, is a team of up to 10 people, where each Scrum team should have a product owner. As such, there's a lot of product owner jobs available on the market for the companies who choose to organize using Scrum as a guidance. I think the job, and I think a lot of product managers would say that it's more about mindset at the beginning. So it's good to be passionate about the industry, about the product that you're working on. If you have something that you like or interested in, and you can turn it into a job, this is the best thing. And product management is a full-time job, so that's important. And then if you do that and you find with learning new stuff, it's good. And the last part is you need to talk with a lot of strangers. And what I'm saying that it is fun, right? And if you have a technical background in business analysis or quality assurance, that might be a good transition, a good place to transition to product management, because you're familiar with execution part of the mix, right? Thank you. I guess there might be some questions. Are there any questions?
Yeah, thank you, Alex, for such, you're so precise in timing. We announced in 40 minutes or less, and it really took us less than 40 minutes. We have some questions in our forum, in Google form, from the applicants. And the first one is, which skills are needed to be a successful project manager?
Well, I don't know.
Product manager, I'm sorry.
Yes, I foresee the second question. Okay, so for product manager, I would say one, you ideally have to be passionate about the product or be interested to learn about the product. There's a lot of products that are fascinating to learn, even if they don't seem like that on the outside. So one, you have to be sort of hungry to learn stuff about what you're working on. And this isn't going to the mindset thing, right? The other one is you have to be comfortable with bringing people together. So function, you go to a guy you don't know with another guy you know but not very well, and you create a meeting and you say, we need to fix a problem, let's do this. So bringing people together, this is also kind of important in day-to-day. I think those would be the main ones. Outside from, you have to be like know your stuff and write good Jira tickets or something. Yeah, that's also needed, but those are the two important ones.
I see. Thank you. The next question is for people like me who don't know the difference between project and product manager. And I will read it. It's quite long, but still. The the difference between product and project management, there is still a big confusion regarding the difference between these two roles. In some companies, the project manager simply does both just because there is no understanding of the difference or because they are not interested in hiring and paying one more specialist. Is
Okay,
this true? These roles are mixed usually?
That's a good question. Sometimes they do. It's very context based, I think. So in some ways, you have a product manager, and the job ideally is to determine what should be done, like next quarter, the quarter after that. And in the simplest, like in my mind, the project managers would be there to see it through, to help with the product managers is like what to do, and the project managers is how we get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is on this level. It depends from company to company. There are different ways to think about it, and I would say that product manager, I would say that both are full-time jobs, but usually product managers know a bit about project management and do some of it, right? And vice versa. So yes, it's interchangeable role in a sense that there are some overlaps here and there, but where a product manager would think what the product should be, what we should be doing the next quarter and this quarter, the project manager should think like, okay, we have this objective that we need to accomplish. We need 20 people to do it. That will work here, here, and here. And this is another mindset. There is no conflict here, so product managers should and could work with project managers. And sometimes product managers can know product very good.
I see, thank you. And we have more question in our live chat. What do we need to learn? Maybe there are some, I don't know, some tips and tricks for those who want to be product managers.
Yes, of course. So the easiest way to learn is basically pick a subject you like, become an expert in it in any way, shape, or form. You can go from support or marketing, whatever, and find some formal education on product management. There are product management boot camps. There's a lot of very good product management programs to learn from, and you can research them on internet and find one that makes sense for you. Find a lecture that does not irritate you, and that's it. That's the entry. So be passionate about the industry you want to work in, ideally, and do some formal education. I mean, what I mean formal is not like going to receive a degree. I'm talking about 3 months courses, half-month courses. That's a good start to see whether it's yours.
Okay, and now the same listener, James, he asks, could you please explain how we can use the Scrum, or is this a skill that we need? Like maybe you can explain on which stage people should learn Scrum and become Scrum Masters.
Okay, how to use Scrum? That's a good question. Can you repeat the question, please? How to use Scrum in what sense? Maybe James can write something.
Yeah, here I think you're listening. Maybe James, you can be more precise in your question. But this is a skill that is needed to be a product manager.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. So how I will rephrase it to my understanding how product managers can use Scrum. So Scrum is usually implemented within the teams by Scrum Masters or Agile Coach. Product management is another area, than Scrum. So let's say again with the road, product management deciding where to go, Scrum team is a vehicle that gets you there, right? That gets the product there. It's not your job to know everything about the vehicle, how it works, how it does, but you need to understand some things as it relates to your work, right? So in practical terms, if you work in Scrum and you're work in product owner capacity, you need to create good user stories, right? So you create good user stories that team picks up with the planning, and they immediately understand the context, why it's needed, what should be done at the end, and then they can start working on it, right? And that would be the most of it. Then there's trade-offs, as I mentioned, where you need to answer quickly to questions from your developers, so their time is not wasted, so the ticket is not lost. And handling releases. This is basically play well with others so they can work effectively. This is the end of the product owner path. But there are some books out there you can learn from Scrum. You can learn from some good Scrum books, and there is actually something which is called professional Scrum product owner certification available from the guys who do this sort of stuff, that you can learn more about it.
Okay, so this was the next question from James: how to become Scrum Master? I've seen, if I'm not mistaken, that you are a certified Scrum Master.
Yes, there is organizations that do that. There is Scrum.org, Scrum Alliance. Those are big ones. I think there are some that I might not remember, but those are the big ones. So you go there. There are 2-3 day courses that take a full day, where there's a coach, there are other students, and you collaborate together. You go for some exercises, and then you pass an exam. And that's how you think you know stuff, but you actually will not know the stuff. Then you go and you work as Scrum Master for a year. You berate your developers and make their lives hard, and then you do a retrospective. You realize what you did wrong, and by that time you're probably in a place where you should be semi-good. I think that's I'm not a Scrum Master, but I think that's how it would work.
Okay, and the next one, let's say I find a company I'm interested in and I have researched about this. What are the skills they will require in the interview so I can be prepared?
What kind of company?
There's nothing about the kind of company. It's let's pretend that someone wants to be a product manager in some company. What skills are required? How to prepare to the interview? What does the person need to know?
Okay, perfect question. So I think it's different depending on. I'll assume it's an early level position. So you have never worked as a product manager, but you have a position of product manager in some company. So you write a CV, right? And then you write a cover letter, and they tell the same story that you want to tell on the interview, right? And the story is that you're passionate about the field you're in, right? If you can provide any commercial software development experience, wherever you're coming from. So if you're a developer, yes, I'm a developer, but I did this, and this, and I know how to do it. It goes a long way. By the way, if you have like GitLab or public projects that you can share, that is very cool. Like the idea, even better, if you have a pet project that you launched, that you not only coded and put on GitLab, but something you shipped. So you make a small project and you shipped it. This looks very good on job application. So I would go about this this way.
Okay.
And formal training would do, if you haven't worked with, like if you work with a company where the product managers and you work with them, you can pick up what the guy is doing. But if you haven't, it's better to have some sort of even short formal education, like not 40 minutes, but like a course.
So in other, I just saying out the question. So in other words, we just need to find a course and just learn. Is that all? I guess not.
There are several. If you go to an interview in a company, and you haven't worked in a related field or that field, like, or you haven't worked with people who are product managers, I think it would be a good place to be able to show or demonstrate that you went through some courses in reality. Like maybe you don't just show it as a certificate and actually learn that stuff if you don't know it. Yes. So there are various things that people who work on products have to know, and maybe the people would want to see that they don't have to learn, don't have to teach you that stuff, right? So yeah, it has to be. Courses are good.
I guess that it will be honest to say that product management manager's job is not for newcomers who have no experience in this field. You just come to some courses. This is like a next step in your career when you already have some basic experience, or even not basic, some deep experience in some field.
From my perspective, yes and no. So it was my second job from like a marketing manager. If you're a business analyst or it will be a very natural transition because you're putting people to work the same way as product manager would do. Yeah, and yes and no. So you might transition from a junior position to junior product owner or product owner of a small team. That can happen. But maybe yes, it requires some experience and some mindset, and that takes some time.